Jaylen Waddle is a Denver Bronco, just like he was yesterday. But now the thoughts that we have are more well thought out. We've had a chance to go back and watch all sorts of Jaylen Waddle over the past 5 years. And today we are talking about so much Jaylen Waddle. You wouldn't believe it. We've got Dre, we've got RK, we've got Zach. It's going to be a 90-minute party of all Jaylen Waddle. So get ready. We're starting in about 30 seconds. This is the DNVR Broncos podcast from the Xfinity studio. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Dre's already waddling.
Yep.
This
Waddle
is
your way in here, chap. Waddle your way in.
waddle
here.
your way in.
What a blessed day.
I'm going to start with this. This past 26 hours,
So great.
just insane.
What a
just
gift for
insane.
you.
I have thought
What a
of
gift.
nothing about
So
Jaylen
amazing.
Waddle. I've watched every target, obviously, of Jaylen Waddle.
So
I've watched when things dried up at the end of last year, those
Yeah.
last 7 games. I was like, okay, well, we can't watch the targets because that's not going to say what's wrong. We have to watch every Miami Dolphins passing play, which is just disgusting.
Yeah.
Going through all the stats
Fun.
and all the numbers. And I have thought of nothing except for Jaylen Waddle for the past 26 hours, to the point where I'm just like delusional about it. But that's why we needed 90
great.
minutes to talk through all sorts of Jaylen Waddle
I
stuff.
love this. Think you could be doing anything, man.
Yeah. There are people who didn't think about Jaylen Waddle at all
I
in
know.
the past 26
I know.
hours.
It's nuts.
It is nuts.
Instead, look at you.
Oh, look at me.
Just full deep dive.
And look at us. So here's the plan for today.
Yes. Give
Dre's-
the people the plan.
Dre is going to hang out for about the first 30 minutes because we haven't heard any of his thoughts on the Jaylen Waddle
Sure.
trade. We're going to get Ryan in here for the next 30 minutes.
go,
We're going to go
Ryan.
through some tape, see what was working so well for Jaylen last year and going back
Nice.
throughout his career. And then
Good.
at the end of the show, we're going to have Zach call in because Zach might have, I'm not sure how hard I can do this, some insights from Jaylen Waddle. We'll see if there's some insights from Jaylen himself. That's what we're hoping for in the final 30 minutes because we've got
Okay.
90 minutes of Jaylen Waddle talk. And I'm going to send it over to you, Dre, because you haven't gotten to say anything about Jaylen Waddle publicly.
It's been several years.
Right.
Years. My fourth prospect in the 2021
Oh, I love this.
draft class. So always been a big Waddle guy.
Behind who? Who are the top three?
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence.
Right?
I
And people,
thank
people
God
liked him.
this is this year, not last year, because
Right.
that would look bad.
it would.
Kyle Pitts, not my best.
1,000 yards in a Pro Bowl as a rookie.
Yeah. Jamar Chase, 3.
Oh, incredible.
Jaylen Waddle, 4. Devontae
Right.
Smith, 5. Penei Sewell, 6. It's a good draft
I think you
class
got
for
that.
your boy.
Yeah, maybe could have
good
bumped
draft
Penei
class.
Sewell up, but I mean, those 3 receivers getting him in the right
Yeah.
order is impressive.
Yep. And we won't talk about who was 7 and 8. No need to.
Right.
No need to.
Right. We don't need to
But
do
that was the long draft class, was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to prep for months on end because that was the COVID year.
It was.
Am I correct in
It was.
saying that?
No, that was COVID year, and which makes the Jaylen Waddle
Or no.
final season interesting.
These guys played under
They did.
COVID, but
Yes.
it was not the draft class that we prepped forever. It was
Right.
Yes.
So
okay.
because that was the COVID season, though,
Yeah.
Jaylen Waddle's last season,
Yes.
it was an all SEC schedule because
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
conferences were like, we're not playing, and the SEC was like, oh, we're playing.
Right.
And he got hurt. He broke his ankle on the opening kickoff of the 5th game. But his start to the season, I had forgotten how
about that.
crazy it was.
Yeah.
So week 1, Missouri, 8 catches, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Texas A&M the next week, 5 catches, 142 yards and a touchdown.
Not bad.
Ole Miss, 6 catches, 120 yards. Georgia, ever heard of him? 6 catches, 161 and a touchdown. And that's where the ankle, like he was off
then
to
he
an
gets
insane pace. And typically, like it's like, oh, Bama receiver lit up Old Dominion or whatever. Those are SEC schools. And it's kind of a shame we didn't get to see the rest of that season. And he did show up for the championship game, wasn't quite himself. 3 catches, 34 yards and a touchdown. wins a championship. But man, was he insane in college.
Yeah, he was unreal. And what separates him from most is that long speed.
Right.
I mean, and it's the long speed as, yes, a deep threat. It's also especially the long speed with the ball in his hands and the ability to just, like RK was saying on the show yesterday, delete angles.
Yep.
Just take off from guys in ways that you don't really see very often. And that's where, to me, then you can look at the early success in the NFL. We start of his career, end of his Dolphins career, you get to see what he looks like as the true number one. In between there, you get to see what he looks like working off of a guy like Tyreek Hill, who's another one of those guys who, there's a handful in the entire NFL of elite speed separators, deep threats who keep you up at night preparing for the game, who are going to alter your coverages pre-snap and stuff.
Yeah. So the Tyreek Hill's interesting. So I always thought of Waddle as kind of like lanky's the wrong word, but more so than Tyreek. But in going back and watching, he is a little bit stockier than I'd realized. He is built a little bit more thickly, not quite to like the Tyreek Hill, just
bigger
ball of
than
muscle.
The listed size.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. And I think because of that, there's a little bit more, maybe a little bit more like power to his game, a little more horsepower to it. It's not just like the pure light speed, like, he can fly, but sometimes like out of those breaks, the way that he's just able to power through that turn and not lose any speed reminded me a little bit more of Tyreek Hill than I expected in going back and watching.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy.
And those guys, to me, are real difference makers because of how they impact the game pre-snap. How you have to account for them at all times. It's like an elite three-point shooter in the NBA. The modern NBA, you're constantly talking about spacing and how shooters afford you more spacing for the other four guys on the court. That's what Jaylen Waddle and a select few others do for you at the wide receiver position.
Right.
Then in rewatching just a teensy bit compared to what you've watched, I was really surprised and impressed by, he doesn't just have the big playability. He doesn't just have the deep speed. He, on top of that, can be used all around the formation, and has developed some nice refinement in his routes, some real like nice just wiggle to work himself open, and then still has that speed of no matter where he gets the ball, still being able to create big plays.
I think that stood out to me as well. That might be the biggest takeaway. It's the speed out, and honestly, any out-breaking route. That's what surprised me in going back and watching a lot of Jaylen Waddle.
He's a killer over the middle. Like those crossers and stuff.
I want to get into that in particular in a second, because there's a lot going on with those. But the out routes in particular, that's where I always thought of him as somebody who, when you get one-on-ones, you can win by just turning it into a foot race, whether it's deep, whether it's the crossers, the shallow drag routes, whatever it may be. But the releases are special too. That piece also surprised me. The way he's able to get off the line of scrimmage against press, which is one of the concerns coming out because you don't see the press in college all that much. And for a guy who's measured in at 5'8.5", 5'9.5", I think it was. Not a big dude. Those, though, to me, could be like kind of maybe the most important part of what Jaylen does, because those are the easy completions. Because you're able to scare him on that quick out route that seems to be kind of unguardable at this point. I saw one of the athletic guys, I forget his name. It's the one who's in San Francisco and talks about all sorts of stuff. Ted Wynn, something like that. Okay. But he said, he's the best speed out runner in the NFL, which I don't know enough to say that, but he does look like that could possibly be the case. Yeah. And when you can scare a guy on the quick out, you can scare a guy on the slant coming in, and then that's before you even talk about the deep stuff. Yeah. I mean, that's really special. That's something the Broncos haven't had in a very long time.
Talking about that skill set specifically,
maybe never.
Maybe ever.
Right.
Maybe ever.
That doesn't mean he's
saying right.
Demarius Thomas is a better receiver.
100%.
But in terms of just like the well-roundedness and the route running to be able to scare defense in every way, interesting.
Combined with the just God-given athleticism that is like 0.0001 percentile of just NFL players, which are already the 0.0001 percentiles of athletes in general. Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating package right there. And he has 5'9.5", bless you to the great Deion Smith, 180, but plays a little bigger than that.
He does. Not a lot, like the catch radius. Catch radius is not great. He's not a big guy. Like, how could it be great?
Yep, totally.
It certainly isn't like he isn't smaller than you expect. I wouldn't say it's bigger than you expect. Like, you're not going to see like the one-handed catches. You're not going to see like the crazy stuff out of him. Sure. And that's what separates him from the Jamar Chases and the Amon-Ra St. Browns. And because he is not one of those tier 1 NFL receivers. And to me, it's because of the ball skills. Because they're good, but they're not good, special.
There's physical gifts that come into great ball skills as well.
Absolutely.
That's something you have in Courtland Sutton, for example.
Right.
And jumped out of the gym at the combine, is actually faster than people give him credit for. And we forget Court's coming off one of the best seasons of his career, which I don't know, as a small aside, we'll see if we have time to get into the trade compensation. Maybe if not today, on the draft pod tomorrow. If anything, I have a teensiest slightest bit of maybe buyer's remorse for the Courtland Sutton contract.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But it's also how he complements and upgrades the rest of the room and has that trickle down is really intriguing. And I thought Courtland Sutton was a big winner of this acquisition. I think Evan Ingram's a really big winner.
He might be the biggest winner.
And now how I feel about the Broncos in 12 personnel, right? Two tight end, 2 wide receiver, 1 back.
Right.
With that masquerades at 11 with Ingram, when those 3 guys running routes are Ingram, Sutton, Waddle versus what you had last year. Or how I feel about 11 personnel masquerading as 4 wide with Ingram, Sutton, Waddle, and pick your poison and Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, or Pat Bryant versus what you had last year. Those are big upgrades and present a lot of problems to where, similar to the Broncos pass rush, you kind of got to pick your poison.
Somebody's one-on-one. Multiple people are one-on-one.
Yes. And what that should open up for Bo, again, pre-snap.
Right.
Personnel, just your roster where it impacts your team the most is pre-snap. It's the week of preparation. It's how it impacts another team's ability to game plan against you and having to, again, pick your poison.
Totally. And I mean, the clip from the NFL Top 100 after the 2022 season, which was the big one, when he had more than 1,300 yards, they show him on the field and he keeps whistling. He's like, look at this matchup, and he'll just whistle it to him and be like, look at this. And it's one of those things where if you're Bo Nix, all of a sudden, when you can scare a guy deep in so many ways, scare him underneath in so many ways, something should always be open. And if it's not Jaylen Waddle, it's because they're allocating too many resources. And this is something you see from really good offenses, is that they have kind of a main target that everything builds off of. Like, you have to stop this guy. First of all, if you don't stop him, bang, we've got the completion. And if you do stop him, it means that we've got Troy Franklin one-on-one with your third corner, and we'll take that all day.
100%.
I want to talk about the middle of the field, because there's a lot to like about Jaylen Waddle with the middle of the field. That's the place where the Broncos' passing game has struggled. And in theory, it's one of those things where you say like, oh, now is it fixed? But also the answer could be, what if Bo just isn't quite ready to make those throws still? Because it's either a perfect fit or it's a total mismatch of skill sets. And I'm curious what you think about all that. First, though, I want to give a shout out to some of our friends.
If you love the NFL Draft, then this is your edge. The Die Hard NFL Draft Guide is built and based off of thousands of hours of film study, being boots on the ground, Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, Combine, talking to scouts, talking to coaches, really getting a feel for where these players are best going to fit and project in the NFL. We're talking hundreds of players in this class. All right, so what are you going to find in the guide? Well, you're going to find player comps. You're going to find strengths, weaknesses, physical tools, analytics, highlights, analysis from all across the space, everything you need to try and determine who are the best players for your team. You get access to the guide if you're a diehard, and you'll also get access to a couple of individual breakdowns I'm doing specifically for your team. All right, look, if you want surface level breakdowns, you can get them anywhere, but if you want independent thought, if you want thorough breakdowns on all of these prospects, become a diehard, get the guide. Or you can get access to the 2026 guide for just $26. Let's win draft season.
Bet365, 'tis the season. What a time to be alive with our friends at Bet365. Use the code DNVR365. It's all in on our all dog strategy in March, and no better place to do that because Bet365 is going crazy with their early payout. Your team goes up by 10, bang, bang. That cash hits, that bet hits before the clock even strikes midnight. And on top of that, right now, new users who use our code, deposit $10, get $365 in bonus bets. There's never been a better time to prep for the playoffs with Bet365. Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the app and use code DNVR365 at sign up. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in Colorado. $10 minimum deposit required. Bonus bet wager excluded from returns. New customers only. 21 plus only. Time limits, minimum odds, TNCs apply. In-app only, void where prohibited.
Back into the DNVR Broncos podcast from the Xfinity studio in the Jaylen Waddle special. The middle of the field.
Yes.
Incredible stuff from Jaylen Waddle. And let's just start there. What makes him so good in the middle of the field?
Yeah, we were talking about that. The nuance and then how lethal he is on those crossers. Where like you set that up, just a one-on-one, him running across the formation, it's really going to be hard to stay with him.
Right. And sometimes you think, like you play Madden and you're like, why don't NFL teams just run this every play? And the answer is because you ask Courtland Sutton to run that route, he's going to get open. But the question is just how long it takes for him to clear the linebackers and get open if you have to wait till that last window. And with Jaylen Waddle being so fast, not only is he running away from the guy covering him, he can get into that space quickly enough that the pressure hasn't gotten home and you can make the throw. And that's a big piece of it, especially on play action, which the Dolphins do really well. They had one of the most efficient run games in the NFL.
It's McDaniel's bread and butter.
Exactly. And so they're able to create those opportunities, but also just on the dig routes. I think that those stood out. He's a really good route runner, but the fact that he has a complete route tree means that there's no cheating. So the defense can't say, similar to Courtland Sutton, we see him on the dig sometimes get free, but also if you're the defense, you say, oh, the dig is kind of working, but we aren't scared of whatever they're not scared of. And so they can kind of overplay that or get ready to take that away. With Waddle, you have to play him straight up because if you're cheating inside on the dig, they're going to come back and you can beat him outside. Numbers wise, so Jaylen Waddle, within 10 yards of the midpoint of the field, essentially the middle third of the field, 10 to 20 yards downfield. He was third in the NFL in receptions last year. Only two guys with more. It was
crazy.
Right. It's like Amon-Ra St. Brown and JSN, I think, were the two in front of him.
Nuts.
Like elite level slot type guys. Bo Nix, when throwing to that box on the field, of the 33 quarterbacks who threw enough passes to qualify, was 32nd in passer rating. He had a 53.4 passer rating. League average was like 106.9. So he was like half league average. Part of that is the Broncos don't really give him the weapons to succeed there. You know, Court, you started to see some of those digs. But, you know, Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, they've never quite figured that out. You thought Evan Ingram might give you some of that, but if anything, he's more underneath anyway. So some of that is the playmakers around him don't excel in that area. But at this point, I also think that Bo just isn't good throwing across the middle of the field. I think, to me, that's his biggest weakness. And so for Jaylen, it's either is he fixing that? Right. Is Jaylen going to fix that? Or is that just going to be a piece that never quite comes through? Is maybe my biggest question this whole move.
Yeah, and I just think back, it's a conversation we've had at points in the end of the season, projecting forward to the offseason, is would this offense benefit from a real slot wide receiver.
Right.
Where, for example, Bo had Tez Johnson in college and did seem to really benefit from having that guy as a pure slot, right? And I think Troy was doing a little inside-outside stuff.
Pat and Bailey at times.
And obviously Waddle isn't a set-and-forget slot wide receiver. This isn't the return of Wes Welker in Denver, for example. But he has that versatility of, I mean, from what I'm seeing last season, he played left outside 44% of the time, right outside wide receiver 34% of the time, left slot 31% of the time, right slot 24.9% of the time. So that's a really nice,
I don't think those add up.
Even split.
It's like 170.
It does seem like a high percentage.
Yeah. But no, I agree. Because it was, I do think it's like 80% boundary, like 20% inside. Interestingly, though, as a rookie, he was more than 50% in the slot. So
Which
they used him as a
when
slot
he
receiver.
had a ton of targets.
Right.
And
then they bounce him outside where they've kind of kept him.
Yep. And the yards per route are the shortest, but he has the most receptions. So he can do that too. And I think in some ways he's that slot plus for you.
Right.
Like he can be that Tez Johnson. He can also, again, projecting to Oregon's college offense, Bo's college offense, but he can also do what Troy Franklin was doing in that offense.
Right. But it's also kind of wasteful in some ways because like you see the yards per target go down. You see a lot of those things. Whereas at this point, you can isolate Jaylen on the boundary. And to me, he's unguardable. Like in going back and watching, like one-on-one, he is unguardable.
Very hard to stick.
So at the very least, you're rotating coverage that way.
Yep.
Like there are times when you see things kind of slow down when teams realize they don't have to respect anybody but Jaylen Waddle in that passing game. Yeah. And it's like there are times when he's triple teamed.
Sure.
It's like, well, this is crazy. And sometimes that's why putting him in the slot, there are things he does well. I don't think to me that's maximizing him. I do wonder if
I agree completely.
In 4 years, again, speed is usually the first thing to go if that's kind of the fallback plan. And even as like a 32, 33-year-old, you see Waddle as a guy who can keep giving you 750 yards as that nickel or that slot guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice retirement or, second phase of your career plan.
Right.
Now, this is a problem for 3 years down the road, but is that a guy worth paying $30 million for a year type of deal? We shall see. We'll get to that when we get to it. The other thing, though, Hank, is even if Bo throws it to him over the middle or not, the gravity he carries, again, a term from basketball used for shooters, and the spacing that opens up for everyone else might just be enough to maximize that value, even if maybe that's not where he's targeted the most in Bo's offense.
And even if you never get you're hoping that that's just the next step of growth, that Bo feels more confident throwing over the middle. You give him some weapons who really work well over the middle, and specifically Ingram and Waddle should work well together, and potentially like Pat Bryant could join that as well.
Yeah.
That he levels up and starts to feel more confident throwing there and you just have success. There's also a world in which out of just like your pure shotgun 11 personnel, he's just never great at those throws over the middle. And in that case, you run a bunch of play action and make those throws easier for him. And so you can at least threaten the middle of the field that way if you're not getting it just out of every single formation that you're running. And if you can do that, then at least the defense has to respect it and then you can play off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think like the way to unlock Waddle is just throw it his way. I mean, that's where his value lessened at the end of last season is you don't have Tyreek playing opposite him and you don't have quarterbacks good enough to threaten you. So it's easy to just dedicate all your coverage to Waddle. And it's also easier to be more of a risk taker because you're kind of like, okay, tempting Skylar Thompson or whoever else is throwing the ball in Miami to like, okay, if Skylar Thompson beats us, then so be it. We can live with that. Bo's got to, take that step into consistently being able to threaten the defense when he gets those one-on-ones.
Yep.
And there's also some usage here. Like Courtland Sutton's usage last year was kind of insane. He was on the field a lot of games, 70 plus snaps per game. it's not sustainable probably. And with Waddle, you're able to break that up a lot more.
Totally. And I like what you said last year. I think I just recorded a video, should be up on the website in a bit, or on YouTube in a bit, that has like a full breakdown with some more of these details. And also, if you're a diehard, Film Room going to be up on the website. It has like double what even that video has. So last year, first 4 weeks of the season, you have Tyreek Hill. And in those 4 weeks, Jaylen's your wide receiver 2. You deploy him like a wide receiver 2, 46 yards per game. From weeks 5 to 10, after Tyreek goes down, that's when Jaylen just feasted. Unstoppable might be a stretch because he only had one 100-yard game in that entire season. But 80 yards per game, just consistently scaring defenses in all sorts of different ways. They're using him like a wide receiver 1. It's like building everything off of Jaylen. Do you have the speed out? Do you have the dig? Do you have the corner, the post, the go? So you go from 46 yards per game in the first 4 weeks to 80 in that next stretch. But then from week 11 on, that's when you see defenses just totally rotate over and say, well, we're not letting Jaylen beat us. And all the different ways they take those crosses away are interesting, whether it's Tampa 2, where you're just asking the middle linebacker to help, whether it's the cover one, the robber where you're crashing down, and you see it go back to 48 yards per game.
And that's the easy fix. It's just cover 2.
Right.
And now you're not daring Bo to beat you. You're daring the Broncos run game to beat you.
Exactly.
And that is the other layer in here of like, that's the next phase in the modern NFL is, do you have a cover 2 beater?
Yep. Which
Because
is the run game,
if
because
not,
you have your 2 safeties deep, you should outnumber
an
them.
idiot like me could game plan against you.
Right.
To take it to the next level of not an idiot like me, but a defensive savant like Vance Joseph to beat you.
Right.
So
Right. So
that's where do they save enough money this year to where you could still find something and you get into Waddle's contract and the cap it opens up. And
as of now, the Broncos have $4 million in effective cap space for 2027, which is effective means your cap space plus, or I guess minus, really.
yeah, that's 2027.
Right. If you signed all your minimum, filled out your roster with minimum contracts and you had a draft. So $4 million, and that's before you account for like Brandon Jones, Ben Powers,
For sure.
Riley Moss, Jaquan,
Yeah.
Bo Nix extension. What does that do?
Yep.
And so you're going to be in a pretty tricky spot. There are 3 teams in a worse spot, but it's interesting. Okay, we've got like 2 more minutes with you. Tomorrow, should say, draft pod before the Broncos show.
Yes.
Me and Dre, potentially Jake.
9:30. Talk about some implications of the trade, that kind of stuff.
So
roster
quickly,
building,
though,
the whole shebang.
in a minute,
Yeah.
what do you think of the compensation? And what do you think it means for just like receiver, the offense in general, as we look to the future?
Ideally, you don't give up that. The 30th pick is fine. I think that's easy compensation.
We were struggling to find a good fit.
In a beautiful world, you don't give up that second top 100 pick, though it is at the end of the top 100. And you do get a high 4th in return, so still a top 110. I added it all up for the trade value chart, subtracted the pick we got from the Dolphins. It comes out to the 25th. It's a little less valuable than the 25th pick, a little more valuable than the 26th pick.
Right.
So if you think about it in those terms, I think it's pretty fair compensation.
It is. And I was concerned about it yesterday. Because again, like Jaylen just has not been as productive in the past 3 years. And there's been a lot going on with,
but if he
who's
was
your backup quarterback,
only as
what is
productive
Tua?
as he was in the first 3 years, that's a guy that's never, ever available for trade.
It's similar to, who would it be similar to? It's not Amon-Ra, because that was even another level.
JSN.
Still
Who only
a touch
broke
below.
out this
True.
last
That is
year.
true.
I mean,
That
he
is
doesn't
true.
have the first couple years that Waddle had on his resume.
That is true. But I think that piece makes it interesting.
Or Justin Jefferson. I mean, it's,
Justin Jefferson's going for like 1,700 though.
If you did what you did in the first 3 years for the final 2, though, you're talked about in that tier, especially because another scouting principle, it's not just a premium position. He possesses the premium trait at the premium position.
That is true.
And that really is like, there's a handful every decade you can count on that are that have that deep speed and can open up the spacing for you.
Any final thoughts before we get back to this at 9:30 tomorrow for the draft pod?
I'm excited. I will have you covered on all the options in the late 2nd, early 4th. still hyped. The Broncos can still do a lot. Might go back and watch some Savion Jones. You were asking me bigger wide receiver, big picture implications. Might just be dabbling in who are the best returners in this draft class as well.
Right. That is interesting.
So, love me some Marvin Mims, but thinking of some alternative. Again, scout down the line, right? Prepping for 27.
Right. Like I said, for more Dre, we'll be back tomorrow on the Draft Pod 9:30. Real quick though, we're gonna sub RK in, dig into some of the tape, hopefully, and talk more about Jaylen Waddle on the other side.
Surfshark VPN, they've got you covered. You don't know what a VPN is? It's like wearing pants. All the important stuff, Hanky, stays private, and online security never been more important than right now. I've been a long-time VPN user. Watch my Italian shows, watch some sports that maybe we don't get here. You want to dabble in airline travel, see what prices are out there if I book from another country at another time of day. It's a beauty, very useful. And since using Surfshark, I've noticed they're quick. That VPN works nice and smooth. And believe it or not, 30-day money-back guarantee on top of that, so you can take your time, try out the service, and experience the whole Surfshark VPN potential, plus 24/7 customer service line. So go to surfshark.com/DNVR Broncos or use code DNVR Broncos at checkout to get 4 extra months and a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee of Surfshark VPN. What a beaut.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Taco Bell. Taco Bell's awesome. I would imagine that when Jaylen Waddle got traded, he celebrated by going to Taco Bell. Taco Bell, it's the place I go. It's the place everybody goes. It's just the best place. Rockies season, they got the little Rockies taco special. 7 runs for the Rockies means free tacos. All sorts of great deals over at Taco Bell. They're the biggest Colorado sports fans that you're going to find anywhere in food. So go check them out. Taco Bell, they've got all sorts of good stuff. They change up their menu all the time. The Lux Value menu is packed with all sorts of affordable options. You can try the new Chipotle Ranch Chicken Stacker, the mini taco salad, the beefy potato loaded griller, the chips and nacho supreme dip. Finish your order off with an order of the salted caramel churros to complete your meal. For $3 or less, the 10-item Lux Value menu is unmatched. Nobody delivers everyday value and supports your hometown team like Taco Bell. Live Moss at Taco Bell. We are back in the Xfinity studio for the DNVR Broncos podcast. And now with RK. Dre did a good job. You missed it. It's worth going back and listening.
Yeah. Give me a grade. Let's give it a 1 to 10.
1 to 10.
You can go 1 to 100 if you want.
I think it was a 9. I think at one point he misread the slot percentage stats. Didn't add up to 100.
They'll get you for that.
Tough, but I think that's the only thing that knocks it down from 10 to a 9. Okay. You've had a night to sleep on it.
Mm-hmm.
What does your Jaylen Waddle study look like?
Watched a couple games. I really wanted to watch 2022.
Right.
And I convinced myself not to.
I like that.
So I just watched last year, and then I watched a couple highlight packages from 2022 just to kind of satiate that craving.
Yep.
And I guess the best thing that I saw between those two things is I don't think the speed has dropped off. And that was like my one little concern is like, why would the Dolphins trade Jaylen Waddle? Well, because they're tanking.
Right.
But what if it's also because they're tanking and they feel like he's lost a tick of speed? And I don't think he has.
I'm right there. I think I'm right there with you.
Okay.
So eventually he will.
Yes.
And I think that's where I would start is like, he will not be a 36-year-old as fast as he is right now. That's a fact.
No. But
30,
Tyreek Hill,
33, 32. Like the question is just where it happens.
Well, and the window is right now.
Right.
So 33 just doesn't really matter to me 6 years from now. I mean, it matters on some scale, but like if we don't have a championship by 2033, I think we've blown the opportunity.
There's a chance that that's the case. Also interesting that the contract expires when he's 30, because that's a weird time to be re-signing a speed receiver. Because it's something that could work, it could not work. That's a problem for down the line. In terms of the speed right now, though, so the top speed he's ever had in his career was 2022. It's like 21.68 or something. And the next gen stats aren't.
Which really isn't that crazy.
It isn't. I've had that same thought.
Which I kind of like.
I agree. I could get behind that.
Because it's like maybe more quickness.
Right.
Just straight line.
Or like ability to
hour.
keep the speed through the break and not slow down.
That's what really fires me up on tape.
I would agree. But so the fact that he hits like that 21.68 back in 2022 and hasn't cracked like the top 20 leaderboard on the next gen stats in the past few years, it is like, I wouldn't say it's a red flag, but it is like some sort of flag where you look at it and you're just like, there might be something there. And I think when you throw in the fact, so in his career, 14 plays of 40 or more yards, 7 of them in that 2022 season.
Okay.
And the numbers, that doesn't make up the entire gap between like that season and his average or kind of what he's been since then, but it makes up like 80%.
Season, so that's going to make sense.
Exactly.
What I was more looking for is like, is there a time where he gets caught from behind when I think he shouldn't have?
Right.
Or is there slightly less separation when he's running like a deep over route and so, against man coverage? And like that to me doesn't show up at all.
Or like that Falcons play where he's able to catch it and turn the corner and get to the end. Like you're just like, oh, that is plenty of speed. Speed is certainly not any sort of concern.
And that was another thought I had is like, maybe he has gotten slower and it just doesn't matter. Like he went from a 97 to a 96.
Right.
And the people that he's running away from are 91s and 92s every time anyway. So like he gets away from them regardless. And the other thing I liked, which maybe you've already talked about this, but you said something about zone coverage yesterday. Like, maybe that's not his strength.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not that he's bad at it.
Yeah. And I think that's where there was like, I heard you wrong, which means probably some other people heard you wrong. Man coverage is the best thing that can happen to him because no one can stay with him.
You can't stop him.
So I think that's more what you were saying is like zone, he doesn't get to just run away from everyone.
Right.
That being said, he's kind of nasty versus zone.
There are certain things he does well. And it starts with like the simple stuff where it's like, okay, we're just running a curl. Like we're stick, whatever it may be, or we're just going to sit you in this gap. And he can do that. I think the post routes are a lot of fun to watch. Specifically like against cover 3, those match coverages, whatever you want to call it, man on the outside with help from this, because the corner is not able to cheat inside. You saw that once with the Ravens with Marlon Humphrey where he cheats inside and gets the pass breakup and they come back like 5 plays later and just say like, oh, double move. And Marlon Humphrey winds up on his ass and Jaylen Waddle catches a pass 50 yards downfield. You just can't cheat on those because he can scare you every direction. Sometimes though, you do see it against a cover 3 where they're kind of dropping a little bit more. And he is also sitting in the space in that gap between the defenders underneath. And that isn't often, but the fact that it happens shows that he's capable of doing it. It almost looks more like a Courtland Sutton dig route where you're hitting that same gap.
Yep.
And there's enough against zone for me to say like, oh, there's no trouble here, especially like when you're running the deep routes where it's essentially man anyway. It just doesn't matter. It's just on those crossing routes, there are ways to kind of take some of those away. But even then, you're not able to do it all the time. Like you pair it with play action and there's just no way to stop it.
And then here was maybe my favorite, maybe not my favorite, but this is what made me feel like I was smart and cool. I watched some Tyreek Hill. Because I wanted to see what Jaylen Waddle is doing to coverages that allowed Tyreek Hill to succeed. And that's where I really liked the zone stuff because Tyreek was also tearing up zone. I mean, really tearing up zone. And some of it had to do with the fact that wherever, and it applies to both of these guys since they both kind of benefit from it.
Right.
But a lot of times it's like whatever the defender sees first, he gets pulled towards. You see Tyreek Hill running and you're, for example, Alex Singleton, and you're like, I have to get to a spot to like try and stop the quarterback from making this throw. Like you just go. You have no time to be like, but where's Jaylen Waddle? And so they use them so nicely against each other or in cohorts with each other.
Yeah.
Against zone because they both demand so much gravity. So I think like Evan Ingram is a guy who, when Jaylen Waddle comes running behind the linebackers, they just have to go back.
Right.
Like they're like, okay, this is a touchdown if we don't get this.
Right.
Evan Ingram gets like exponentially more space. And so his gravity against zone is almost as, if not more valuable than his actual play against it.
Right. Well, and it just like changes. Let's transition. We'll look at a couple plays because I think there are some that kind of into this. I'll move this over here so you don't have to squint at that.
Cool. Thanks.
So start with the post route. So I talked how much I love these because, again, you just have like one-on-one down here. I think he backs off on this one. Yeah. So he backs off a little bit. You have like the leverage. Mike Jackson. I also got. I can't remember if I cut the JC Horn out. If you want the JC Horn one, it'll be in the film room.
Okay.
Something like that. That's him with the hair. I just call him hair and no hair. But again, like you see him like taking away the sideline. You're not going to be able to break outside, but you still just have to play him straight up. And Jaylen is just so fast through this break. Like what should take, if it takes another guy a second, which it doesn't, it takes him half a second to get from there to there. And so it just like crosses his face and he's open. Because when you don't do that, even when you play this off coverage, scare him inside, and he's got to respect what could be this post route, and then he'll just run by you. And the separation that he has there is insane. And it doesn't look like that much because it's Tua throwing the damn football, which was another takeaway. Did you? Oh
my God, the underthrows.
The underthrows are crazy. You think about like Bover throws; those are two underthrows. It doesn't matter because he's not even in the NFL right now. But
it is crazy how many times he's reaching back, getting run into, in the like. My God,
right?
And that's like I was kind of joking about it yesterday, but I kind of mean it even more now. Where it's like, you know, when Jaylen Waddle might hit 22 miles per hour. When Bo throws the ball a little too far.
Right. And he's just got to hit the gas and go. Yeah, I know. The Bover throws were a real thing. But there were less of them down the stretch. Yeah. And I think that was another interesting piece where, again, 24 Bover throws in the first 11 weeks. In the last 7 games, including the playoff game, 5 of those games, there wasn't one.
Yeah.
And there were 4 total. So like and that was the bye week. So the bye week was a hard turning point between. It happens for a lot. Tua plays for the Falcons. I did know that. It's one of those things where you're so locked into Broncos.
Tongue in cheek.
Okay, he's going to be out of the league in a second.
Kevin Stefanski loves an undersized lefty.
What a weird type to have. I guess somebody has to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the Bover throws I think are dried up, which should make these easier. There's the touchdown just for fun. We went to the Marlon Humphrey. This is the one I talked about. We're just like vet, all pro. He knows these post routes are money. So you're going to break inside. His hips are flipped just a second before Jaylen's, and he's able to get inside. And I swear this might be the only post that got broken up by like the actual corner all last season. So I love it.
And Bo's throwing some good posts.
Right. And so having a guy who that's a weapon is awesome. Again, it's like the same thing, a little bit of outside leverage. He wants to be able to kind of bounce inside and take this away.
You can tell he really likes the throw too, Bo, because it feels like they have one drawn up every game.
Right.
And sometimes he was like a little overzealous on them last year. It'd be interesting to see what
someone were like low. And yeah.
But if you remember, like there was like 3 or 4 that were almost picked because he was just like, I really want to throw this to Marvin.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, you see, there's just this one hard step inside from Jaylen.
Well, I want to stop you really quick.
Yeah.
Do you notice how there's always, just draw a little bit of the space between them right now?
There's always this.
There's always that.
There's always that.
It's like.
Because you're always scared.
Exactly. Which means he's literally always open.
Right.
And it's going to take a minute for those two to develop the chemistry. But you can throw this ball right now, out, in, stop.
It all works.
Everything is open.
Right.
Because there's nothing this corner can do to stay even with him in case he wants to go deep. It's like, I'll allow, because what is he right now? 10 yards past the line of scrimmage-ish?
Yeah.
He's like, I can live with this all day. I just cannot let him score on this play.
Right.
And it's just like, as we go through these clips, just keep watching. There is always that gap, which means he is open right now.
Right. And it's just like, it's up to Mike McDaniel to call the right play. And so like you call that post the first time, you see Marlon Humphrey to like break on it, good play. You see him try to break on it again, this hard step. And he just doesn't lose any speed as he breaks back outside. But with Humphrey with his hips flipped inside.
No, see ya.
Oh, and there he goes.
You're grabbing.
And then he's down on the ground. And that's an all pro. Like not at his best last year, of course. But he wins. Again, like, could you put this ball out in front? Tua either decides not to, is not capable of doing that, and still a catch that gets him inside the 10. And it's just the combination of the post and the go route it's kind of unstoppable. And I don't have any clips of the corner, but the way he like inside releases and gets the leverage he wants and that quick break back outside, to me, even going back, it's not losing speed as he just plants that foot and goes that probably makes all of this work so well.
You know what I thought of when I was watching him run routes? Depending on whatever it means to you, whether it's like you ever been like driving fast in a car and taking a turn and you feel the G forces, or you're on a scooter and you take a tight turn, or you're on skis and you're like going kind of like around like a slope and it feels like you're turning and accelerating.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like with him. It looks like he's just like he comes out of those breaks and like, because he's so much faster at it than the people he's running against, it looks like he's actually getting faster.
It's crazy
when he cuts out of him because he separates so often.
It is crazy. I guess we've got time to I was going to skip over some of these, but why not? They geniuses over in LA decided we're going to press Jaylen Waddle. It's one of the things is like
get hands on him, be physical with him.
He's 5'8.5". I can't remember if we decided he was 5'8.5" or 5'9.5", coming out of college. We checked that earlier. Listen to whatever Dre said. But a 5'9.5". One of the questions, can you press him? Like, because you don't really press him in college. We found out that you cannot because the releases are just too crazy. He's just too quick. Again, it's that inside release. And from here, where could he go? I guess they're kind of taking this post away. But when you
in the middle,
right, when you lean inside, like there he goes. He's just
what happened to that
past the defense.
Perfect position, and now it's just gone.
Just not fast enough. Simply not fast enough.
His eyes in the wrong place.
Could be.
Because like, how is he 10 yards by you now?
Yep. And there's Jaylen and look Jaylen saying like, look, I'm wide open, looking over the shoulder. Just lead me up inside. This guy's looking the other way, wide open for a touchdown. What does Tua say? Oh, we're going to throw it way out here. No. And the fact that Waddle's able to look over this shoulder and turn back and look over the other and then have to dive to catch it. And there's some of those he doesn't catch. It's weird that it happens as often as he does that you're like, look, there he is running toward the end zone. Tua's like, no, go the other way. Which I don't think happened as much in 2022. I didn't watch all of 2022 because there's only 26 hours since yesterday today. But that seems to be somewhat new. But again, the adjustment on that is crazy.
It is. I hope he doesn't have to adjust so much.
I know. You would think not.
I'd like to know the first thing he said when he found out he was playing with Bo Nix. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, it could be anything.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much anything positive because Bo Nix is absolutely better than Tua.
Oh, yeah.
But I just want to know if he was just like, oh my God, thank God. Like,
yep.
Bo Nix, like he can get me the ball, or like I'm not gonna have to flip my shoulders when I'm wide open to the middle of the field. I really want to know because everything he's gonna say in public is gonna be very positive, but I really want to know what his actual instant reaction was.
Or like some of these throws that could just be on a line. Like if you just hit him in stride here, it's a touchdown. Like the gap is this big here, it's just getting bigger. And when you have like it on a line instead of getting all you can to get the perfect trajectory, get as far as you can go. Like it's less underthrows, but it also makes it easier to catch and run in stride. And again, Bo not great at that, but there were certainly flashes.
There was one that he threw to Troy up the left sideline that was like on a laser. That was really nice.
There's some.
Yep.
There's some. And it got a lot better in the second half of last season in particular, which the trends are exciting. What do we have here? Oh, the speed out. I think my favorite thing that he does. Just unbelievable. Again,
if you're a watch-along watcher, get ready for me to just be saying, Waddle speed out, Waddle speed out, Waddle speed out.
Yep. Because there's just nothing you can do. Like you have the one-on-one here. Again, because he can scare you. He can win inside. He can take you deep. The safety's here. You can break out. You can just run right by. Like there's so many different ways he can beat you that you can't cheat one way or the other. And so you get this little outside release. And he already has him right here because he can flip his hips and run so much faster than maybe any other receiver in the NFL because that's just what he's built for. Just flip your hips and be so fast. Again, like it's a good little bit of separation there. Throw here. Again, something Bo should be better at, a little more arm strength, makes those out routes easier. By the time he catches it, like there's just a gap.
Yeah.
It should be 5 yards basically whenever you want it, unless the corner's playing outside leverage, in which case you have whatever else.
And there's always a chance like this is probably half a step too close. I don't know how this play ended. But if you get that extra half a step, there's
Right.
a chance that you get a chance to
Turn
square
and
your
run.
hips
Yeah.
to the defender and make a move, and you're gone.
Yeah. This one I really liked. I only picked a couple. There's some like even the deeper ones where he's like patient and like inside release, get the corner's hips flip that way, break outside, and the corner's just like spinning around up there. But it's like, it's only so much time in the day. I chose this one though because it's fun to see some of that with how he synced it up with the play action. So again, speed out, just up, out as fast as you can, maybe even round it and just get out there as fast, race to the sideline, let the quarterback make the throw. When you have the play action, all of a sudden, especially even from the short side, you can't run this too quick. Otherwise, there's just no time for it to, the corner's going to break. It's going to be a pick. So you see play action, this big inside release, and then just kind of throws him by. Little receivers will never get called for that. Break outside, and then by the time the ball gets there, again, just massive separation.
He's got a chance to make a move.
I know, and he often does make a move. So speed outs to me, maybe not like the most important thing he does or the thing the defense fears the most, but I do think that to me, it might be what he's the very best at. Because it's just, he's magically open every time.
Someone in the comments asked something along the lines of how many drops has he had. I don't know the exact numbers. Maybe you can grab those. But this is what I really like. Over the last 5 years, out of 72 receivers with 150 plus receptions, so the best receivers in the league over the last 5 years, 17th in accurate target catch rate, which essentially means that if it's a good pass, he doesn't drop it, or he's 17th best in the league at not dropping it, which means he has top 20 hands in the game. He's certainly not perfect. But he has good hands, very good hands.
Right. And Dre and I talked about it. Like, it's not, the drops are never a concern. It's just, there aren't many like plus catches, like where it's just like the one-handed or like the jumping up over a guy. There are a couple, like there are a couple times where he jumps up and gets one up high. But for the most part, that's where you kind of see it.
It's hard to ask a 5'9" receiver to go get those.
If he was 6'2", he could do that stuff, but maybe the like ability to keep that speed through the break would be gone, which would defeat the whole purpose.
Yeah, his catches in traffic are more like sliding down to the ground on an in cutting route, like, just kind of. He's not going up in the air and mossing people, but I think he trusts his hands and has strong hands. In crowded spaces.
Hands aren't a concern. They're also not something that's like, oh my goodness, look what he's doing. There's some of the middle of the field stuff. We talked about could play action help Bo in the middle of the field. It's a nice little break there. You get the linebackers going that way with the running back. Both of them moving that way kind of look like the same guy, which is crazy.
It's nice when you have a running game.
It is nice. Maybe we'll just hit this gap right here. Tua, good job throwing with anticipation. That's something that is noteworthy. Again, this is the fun one right here. Whoa.
Look at all of the people. This guy. Go back one slide. He's in a circle of 5 defenders.
You would think somebody. My favorite one is this guy because you're like, certainly he's going to be able to get him. But nope. Nope. So again, like you see that last one, you've got the like the anticipation with the throw. This one I chose, it's the dig. No play action. He's gonna hit him in the space, but that means you have to get over the linebackers. Just misses both of their fingertips to get it to Jaylen. Again, like there's that same old separation you were pointing out. It's always that exact same.
Always there.
It's always right there, and he has to jump up and catch it. Those are tough throws. And we talked about like Bo over the middle of the field. I pulled up the stats with Dre. Essentially, Jaylen, nobody better in this box. Let's see, where's the line of scrimmage? Line of scrimmage about here. Not that box. This box right here. There are 2 receivers who had more catches in this particular part of the field. There was only one quarterback, Spencer Rattler, who was less efficient throwing to that part of the field. That's one where something's got to give. Either it's Bo figures out how to make some of these throws, or it's Jaylen just so good that's all that Bo was missing was the weapon who can take advantage. And looking at these past two, that good throw with anticipation over the middle, scary to throw. This throw, the touch to layer it over. Again, for all the things that Tua isn't good at, that's something he's incredible at, is those layer throws right there, which is different. And so you'd hope that you'd hope that kind of comes along for Bo, because if not, you're just never really going to see all of this matter too much.
Yeah, absolutely. We can keep going as much as you want.
Cool. Let's just keep going then.
All right.
It's opening up conversations.
It is. I like it.
It's not a monologue.
Also, just in case those of you weren't with us during the season or whatever, we would love to be able to show highlights.
Right.
Or actual film, whether it's a highlight or not.
Right.
The NFL will not allow us to do that. So that's why we have to do it via screenshots. Think of it like one of those picture books.
Yeah, picture books.
Those are fun.
I know. And it's also so fun to pick, like, what is the exact moment where his foot is breaking there so that you can see, not super fun. Also, if you do want the monologue version of this, recorded it this morning, up on the website in a bit, or on YouTube in a bit. There's a film room that'll be up on the website with twice as many plays. Later tonight, maybe tomorrow, we'll see.
You want to know a thought that I had, which I'm sure I'm not even in the first 500,000 people to have this thought. But it's the first time I've had it about Jaylen Waddle.
What is it?
It's pretty funny how fluid he is, and his name is Waddle.
Yeah, right. It is really funny.
He doesn't. I really enjoyed that because Waddle has got to be the least fluid way of moving.
I know. Like, I wouldn't say DK Waddles, but there's almost there.
Yeah. I mean, Courtland is very stompy in the way that he runs, which makes him super powerful.
Right.
But I wouldn't call any player in the NFL waddling.
That is
it would
true.
probably be an offensive lineman, if anything.
True. Those guys can waddle.
But I was like, Waddle, that's a hilarious name for someone who is like a Ferrari.
Absolutely. All right. So this one, out of the crossers, into the explosive plays. Which one is that? Oh. So this is actually how defenses took some of this stuff away. So, first 4 weeks of the season, Tyreek Hill healthy, Jalen's wide receiver 2, 40 yards per game. Weeks 5 through 10, that's where Jaylen Waddle is the number one receiver, and they're using him like one. They're building everything off of him, and he's really successful, 80 yards per game. Every clip we watched, weeks 5 through 10. This is weeks 11 and on this year, where defenses said, we are not going to let Jaylen Waddle beat us. And that's where production dropped back down to 46 yards per game. And sometimes the other guys took advantage. Sometimes they were just the Dolphins and didn't have the weapons to do it. On this play, Darren Waller, pretty crazy, does take advantage. He's just going to run the clear out. Some of the other, again, film room version, we'll see some of the different ways they get to the speed out. Clear out being one of them, the pick, all sorts of different things. But against the quarters, I believe I think they rotated to cover 3. You're going to see this guy clears out the outside, which means Alontae Taylor has to go to the flat, which is where Waddle's going to be going. And you can see if you're running this race here, Waddle already has position.
You don't want to give him a head start. Also,
Alontae Taylor, $20 million a year nickel.
Wow.
J-Mac, significantly better player. So keep that in your mind with free agency next year. There's the clear out.
Gonna have to choose one between.
There's the left.
J-Mac and Riley.
It's getting ugly. The Broncos aren't in cap hell next year, but we'll call it cap Cleveland. It's not hell, but it's certainly not a place you want to be.
They'll find a way out of it.
There's
always a way. They
always do. But $4 million in effective cap space, and you don't have Riley or J-Mac that's a problem for later. Clear out corner thinks he's a genius. He's seen this on tape for 6 straight weeks. The speed out. We're going to go rob it.
No.
Oh, no. And there's Darren Waller.
That's a good read by Tua.
It is. And Tua's not as bad as people say. And we're going to overtime. So go to overtime on YouTube.
And if we're just being completely honest here, we could be here a while.
We could be.
Do they know what we're waiting for?
I don't know if we're allowed to say what we're waiting for.
We're not allowed to say what we're waiting for.
Jaylen Waddle is not joining the show. I just want to say that.
No, that's not what we're waiting for.
Let's not get any overexcitement. Set the bar low.
We're waiting for Zach.
We're waiting for Zach.
Zach will be joining the show. We're waiting for him for a reason.
Absolutely. So that's one way to take it away is just the corner gets over aggressive. There are more schematic ways to take it away.
Really quick, because I think it lines up well with that clip. someone in the comments, I think it was Daniel, asked, so 5'10" Waddle is going to do more for our middle of the field passing game than a really good tight end. That's a super loaded question, but
It really is.
but the answer is it doesn't matter. And let me tell you why. Because Jaylen Waddle is going to do a lot for your middle of the field passing game.
Right.
And he's also a double down investment on Evan Ingram.
Right.
And that's where I really, really think that the two of them together, like Evan Ingram is not a elite tight end, but he is a good tight end. His numbers would say maybe even better than good in terms of a receiving option tight end. And he's definitely capable. Watch how much more room he has to work with this year because of Jaylen Waddle. So if you could have Travis Kelce, would that be better for prime Travis Kelce?
Right,
would that be better for your middle of the field passing game?
Right.
Yeah, probably.
Dallas Goedert?
No, definitely not. So yeah,
David Njoku? No.
I think that it's a combination of those two things will make the middle of the field. And I mentioned it when we talk about the tight ends, but like the conversation also just has to be had about Bo Nix throwing to the middle of the field. Like it's not as though there was never anyone open there because we didn't have the personnel to get people open there.
Right.
It's not really Bo's favorite thing to do.
Right.
What I do like about Bo, and I think where I see the potential, is on third and almost impossible. He very often throws to the middle of the field. And they had a lot of opportunities to convert those. There's like 3rd and 14s where it's like, only way we can do this is we protect it up for 3 seconds and we get Courtland on a dig in the middle of the field.
Yep.
And there's I think there's 2 plays in a row against the Bills where he got a ball out there and Courtland didn't hold on to it. And it wasn't a perfect throw, but probably catchable. But like he can do it. We'll see if the combination of getting Waddle and whatnot, Davis Webb and his progression allows him to get there more.
Yep. Again, like going back to this box, up in the middle of the field there where you're 10 to 20 yards downfield, that's where only 2 players in the NFL had more catches than Jaylen Waddle last year. So like there are stats that back up, like, will it do more for your middle of the field passing game? Like the answer is yes. There are only 2 players you'd rather have to do that exact thing. Again, that opens up all this area, this little box. We'll call this the Ingram box. And this is the Waddle box.
There you go. That's a great.
Right. And then this is called this Court.
It looks like Kurt.
It does. It's hard to write with this. That's what I'm going to say. Oh, yeah. Just another defense kind of skewed toward taking away Jaylen Waddle. Again, because you've seen him beat you. You wind up with the outside leverage. Mike McDaniel, being the genius he is, tries to like motion Greg Dulcich out, pull this corner out, and kind of does get this outside, this leverage outside. But they drop a guy off the line of scrimmage to take away everything in the middle because they're not going to let Jaylen Waddle beat him. Bang. This one, here's a triple team, kind of fun. This guy is sitting outside, not going to give up anything out. Guy over the top, going to handle anything vertical. Chase Young going to drop, nothing right there.
Wow.
What are you going to do?
They literally put the little triangle defense
right,
on it.
There's nothing you can do. And unfortunately, I don't think anybody wins that one-on-one. It's a little double move. Still almost gets the leverage on there. This. You would think.
The left hash 5-yard line.
Yep. Tampa 2. So what do? Jamie Sherwood, a guy the Broncos wanted last year before they signed Dre Greenlaw. Dropping out, in charge of the middle. But not only is he in charge of the middle, immediately flips his hips to Jaylen Waddle. So that you do not get this crossing route. Because that's the thing that it seems like defenses more often than not say, okay, you're not getting the crossing route. We're simply not going to lose this way because that's where a lot of teams lose.
And especially because against this defense, you can take that outside receiver, pull that deep safety all the way out.
There
so you can open up all that space in there.
And so then, just not going to let that happen. Not going to let that happen.
And look at the safety up top too. He's
also looking this way. Again, like same idea, just a different way to do it. Bengals want to run man coverage. They're just too stupid to run zone coverage up in Cincinnati. And so they want to play man, but you know what's going to happen. Yeah, we can't let Jaylen Waddle get the crosser. So the safety is going to come all the way down as like a robber, stop Waddle from taking it. So you have corner playing outside, not going to let anything happen out here. You have the safety coming all the way down to take away the middle. Essentially, you've got a double team on Waddle, which means one-on-one. You get safety coming over, so it's not quite, but this guy should be free through here. You've got the one-on-one out here. 3 one-on-ones if they run this defense.
Yes, and this is what I mean when I talk about gravity.
Right.
Like, he is pulling the defense towards him, which is giving so much space for everyone else. And it's easy to call a play once the ball's already been snapped, but like, let's just say you had a running back out in the flat on that right side that you could flip it to. There's no one there to stop him.
Right. Exactly. I think I've only got one more here. This is the one from 2022. Jair Alexander down here. Again, what do you do if you're Jair Alexander? Jair Alexander, famously, fast cornerback. Look at the cushion he's got to give Jaylen Waddle. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Do you know what the down and distance is here?
I
mean, they're under center, so it's not going to be 3rd and 10.
First.
Oh, yeah.
Must be 1st and 10.
Okay.
Yep. So, again, this is back in 2022. So this is good Jair, not bad Jair. Important distinction.
Yep.
And so you fake the toss back here. Get everybody moving this way. The key with these over routes is you have to have time for him to get all the way over. Jaylen Waddle, it takes less time because he's Jaylen Waddle. You have to do that before the rush gets home. And corner thinks he's helping. Instead, he just over pursues. Tyreek Hill, fast guy, gets downfield, makes a block. Jaylen makes a guy miss. And you have an 84-yard touchdown.
Wow.
Yeah, longest touchdown of his career. And
that did not look like a touchdown.
Right. But that's where, again, that's that 2022. The biggest reason at least, that you have the massive numbers in 2022 is that 7 of his 14 40-yard gains came in that season. And it's kind of like the chicken and the egg. Like, was he really good and so those happened, or did those happen and so he looks like he was really, really good? The point is, Jaylen should be a 1,000-yard receiver at minimum. And part of that is either Bo hits the deep balls or he gets better in the middle of the field, should be 1,000 yards every year. If he gets better at both of those, then that's where you could have the big numbers, the 1,300. If you're consistently not missing those throws that Tua sometimes missed, seeing him when Tua didn't. And then also other guys are doing so well when defenses adjust to take away Jaylen Waddle that they no longer do that, which is not something the Dolphins can do, which is why down the stretch, those numbers just weren't nearly as good as they were in that middle stretch when, again, Tyreek's out, and so they're still kind of playing straight up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And to go back to something I said earlier, because I think it was, I forget who it was, but we were going back and forth about Evan Ingram. And he said, after last year, I don't know if I like doubling down on Evan Ingram. Maybe double down wasn't the word.
Yeah.
It's
you're already.
It's like instead of buying a new car, you're getting a new transmission. You know, it's like you could get a whole new car, or maybe it's, I don't know, however you want to think of it. You're just helping the car to be better rather than having to get a whole new car.
Right. Maybe fix the road. Because
the
road will still be there even if you have to wind up getting a new car later on.
Fair. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, last year had to be really frustrating for Evan Ingram. Because he doesn't suck.
Well, and he's never not been on the field that much. Like, he's always at least on the field. And he wasn't last year.
Yeah, I have to imagine he's kind of licking his chops after this move, but also with the Davis Webb move. Like, that's his guy. That's his friend. He's assuming that Davis Webb is going to get him the ball. And I could imagine a really big turnaround for Evan Ingram next year.
Oh, absolutely. It's a really tough offense to learn. And that's something we talk about whenever it's a rookie, but whenever it's a veteran, we just totally ignore that and say like, well, you're 30, so you can learn a new offense. Like, well, sometimes that's still hard. Like that could take time. And I do think that the Broncos probably expected a little bit more out of him as a blocker. Not a lot, but enough to just keep defenses honest, because they wound up just pigeonholing themselves. And a lot of that Sean, it was a Sean had to be conscious decision to say, we aren't running the football when Evan's on the field. So whenever we call a run, we need to get Evan off. And that's where you get the 82-18 split between passes and runs when he's on the field. And despite that, like, he was consistently proven right because they ran for 30% fewer yards when he was on the field, despite the fact the defense is thinking pass all the way. So it's just this tough situation where you can either lean in and say, hey, we're going to take the hit to the run game, but by being more multiple out of this, or at least being more balanced the way we call it, we should be able to get better passing opportunities out of it. And he said, no, we're just going to kind of bail. We're going to use him like a receiver. It's going to be a tell, but it is what it is. So maybe this year they say we can make this work in a different way, or maybe he just knows the playbook better. Maybe they can find ways to use him in ways that they weren't able to before.
Couple of fun conversations. First one, how much do you think they will take from Mike McDaniel's offense in terms of like little tricks to get Jaylen Waddle the ball?
I'm curious. There will be some of that. I would say if everything's going really well with Jaylen Waddle, you shouldn't take too much of the trick stuff to get him the ball.
Yeah.
I think like that's where all of a sudden you can get Marvin on the field to add that dynamic. So you're like, well, we have to, if every play they're thinking we need to stop Jaylen Waddle, if you then throw Marvin Mims in the backfield, you're like, wait, am I supposed to not pay attention to this? Am I supposed to move my brain power to this? And then what happens? But I do think there's a lot of, it's nice when you come from that offense because you see what Mike McDaniel thought he was best at and how to use that. So like with those speed out routes, like I said, there's so many different ways so you can just say one-on-one on this side, we're going to throw it. Or you can say, we're going to throw it with the play action, which means he has to take a second, get out there, totally changes the look, changes how corner plays it. We can say we're doing it from the slot now. And in that case, you either have the clear out or they also ran the pick out of it. And so there's different ways. And so like with all these little things he does well, there are the however many variations to run those things. And Mike McDaniel already figured them out.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of get to copy the work on a lot of that stuff.
I like the lining up in trips and having him run kind of like a slot fade and then having the big wide receiver set the pick.
Right. There he goes.
Yes. And one of the things that I think they can coach into, let's just say Courtland's going to run the point on that. And you want him to just turn around like he's running a curl. You really don't have to pick. Like, do not get called for the pass interference because making the corner make one step to get around you means Jaylen Waddle's gone.
Totally.
So that's a fun thing.
Totally. I mean, everything is just so wide open. And the route running does all. So, like, again, like the fact you can run that post route, but can run the go route, like, what's the corner going to do? There's no way you take that step in because he's just going to run right by you. Like, if you leave him that cushion that you see almost every time, except for that one time Marlon Humphrey gambled and then got burned on it later because he gambled, like, then it just doesn't work. Then we didn't see the corner route, but he's great at running that as well. He can break to the outside. And you'd think with Bo's arm instead to his arm, those should work even better because you're able to drive those out there and don't have to worry about getting undercut as much. Like all those out routes, we looked at the speed outs, but you want to run that 10 yards downfield, he's just as good at that. There's so many little variations that there's just no way to take it away with one guy. Yeah. And even with two guys, you're kind of struggling. Like you're forcing him into a pocket of space where you kind of need a little bit of help.
Yep.
And when you go through all that, the reason the numbers last year weren't so good is because the Dolphins weren't able to take advantage when they double or even freaking triple teamed him. And so if Troy Franklin's able to beat a number 3 corner, you're good. If Court's beating their number 2 corner, you're good. If RJ is winning out of the backfield against all the space in the middle of the field, awesome. Like there are just so many. If Evan Ingram takes the step, how are you going to defend that guy? So I think there are just so many ways for it to work that I do like the move. I was a little hesitant yesterday just because the first is a lot to give up. For a guy who still, despite all this, is not in that like first tier of receivers. He's not JSN or Justin Jefferson or Jamar or Monra. And all of a sudden you realize there are kind of a lot of those guys who fill up that top. But with all the things that he does, like you can build an offense around him that's a really good offense.
Yeah, I would be curious because I'm not saying he's JSN, but if you took him and had him run all of the exact same routes that JSN ran last year, like what would his numbers have looked like?
Totally.
I don't think the drop off would be that substantial.
You wonder.
Especially you just watch the way that he gets separated. He's open on everything unless they dedicate 2 people or 3, as we just saw, to stopping him. And
so the difference with JSN is Jaylen does have a tick more speed, which is important. Like there is more of a deep threat. With JSN, it's the hands. Like he's a guy who does make the one-handed like you throw him contest ball on the sideline, he might go up and get it. like you tracking over the shoulder. Some of those plays that, and that's he has like 1,800 yards last year. That's the difference between 1,400 and 1,800 for him. And we're talking about Waddle as a guy who, as a wide receiver 2, had 1,350. And I think that's probably that separator still where you say it just isn't. That's the gap to me. Or if he starts jumping up, making one-handed contested catches or getting pinned to the sideline and going over guys, and that's where you see that 1,800, which I mean just probably won't happen because he's 5'9".
Okay. Next conversation.
Yep.
And we're in
Buying
flux
time
here about whether or not we are going to get Zac. Or maybe we'll have Zac despite him not getting what we wanted him to have. Best, let's just go 1 through 5.
Mm-hmm.
Best Broncos receiving group since. So Jaylen Waddle, Courtland Sutton,
Right.
Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, Marvin Mims. You can put them in whatever order you want.
Right. So let's see. I'm just gonna go year by year here.
Well,
so
you can probably skip all the way back
Right.
to 2016.
So like Court, Troy, Pat, RJ. Obviously, this is the same group as last year, but with Waddle. Year before that is like Sherfield, but that doesn't do anything. Computer died, which is bad timing.
That is unfortunate.
I've been it's been working today. But yeah, I mean like Demarius pushed for, he had 1,700, didn't he? Did he get to 17?
He had a crazy season.
I think it was simultaneous with Emmanuel getting to like 1,300, which is where he topped out, I think. But I do think that Waddle might be better than Emmanuel Sanders. I think there's a world in which that happens. And I didn't think that was the case yesterday, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's hard to say that about a player who
Right.
won a championship with the Broncos. He certainly has the talent to be.
Right.
I mean, he's a 6th overall pick. Like,
Yep.
you probably should be better than Emmanuel Sanders. I think you have to go back to, let's see, 2014 or 13. I'm on 14 right now. You have to go back to 2013.
So what was the difference between that group and the 2015 group? Oh, so that's pre-Sanders. That's an entirely different group.
Yes.
Demarius.
This is Demarius, Eric Decker, Wes Welker is your top 3.
Yeah. I mean, without going back and looking, I put Sanders in front of Decker. And Demarius.
So did they have a year with?
I think, and that makes it tough. But then Welker is your number 3.
Welker's
is clearly an
3
upgrade.
is like
but that was
the best 3 ever.
It was also old man.
So they
3
did
for-
have Demarius, Emmanuel, and Wes in 2014. It's just hard to say that was better when
Right.
they put up the numbers they did in 2013.
Right.
But Peyton started to kind of decline, so who knows? It's either 2013 or 14 is my answer.
Mhm.
You can split hairs on whatever one you want to choose.
That is probably right. Again, like just Demarius is a
Also, didn't
At the time, I was saying Demarius is the best receiver in the NFL, and you have like Julio at the time, or like that. I would think that was just shortly post Megatron, but there were debates about like AJ Brown and Des Bryant, and again, like he at the very least was in like that very top tier, which the Broncos don't have a guy who's like, if you had to pick your top 5 receivers, he's in that group. I think that is a bigger difference than sometimes we give it credit for.
check this out. Okay, especially if you just include Julius Thomas as kind of the 4th wide receiver.
Instead of
which
Evan Ingram, yeah.
He really was. 2013, Demarius Thomas, 1,430 yards and 14 touchdowns.
Oh.
Eric Decker, 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns. Julius Thomas, 788 yards and 12 touchdowns. Wes Welker, 778 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yep.
They had 4 receivers with double-digit touchdowns.
It doesn't happen very often.
You don't really get 2.
No.
Or sorry, at least you don't get more than
I
2.
mean, the Broncos haven't had 2 since.
They
Because
might-
Harvey he didn't have double-digit receiving. He had double-digit total. And nobody else had 10 receiving.
Let's see. Let me look at the next year.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if Emmanuel and DT did it.
That's what I was thinking. There was that year where it was like Emmanuel and DT both cleared 1,000. I think this is 2016. And no one else cleared 375, I think.
Right.
see. The next year, you had Demarius 1,619 and 11 touchdowns. Emmanuel 1,409 touchdowns. Julius Thomas, the big drop off here, 489 but 12 touchdowns. And then Wes Welker. This is probably the kicker that gives me 2013 as my final answer. Wes Welker kind of fell off this year, if you remember.
Yeah.
Only 464 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was like experimenting with that gigantic helmet.
Right. Ugh.
Poor guy. So yeah, this is the best Broncos receiving group in 13 years.
Yeah. I mean, it should be at the very least. I mean, the Sanders Waddle thing is interesting because so Emmanuel made the tough catches. Like that was like, especially like AFC Championship game, like going up over defenders and converting first downs.
Yep.
Because despite being a little guy, like he just came down with everything. And it's not that Waddle isn't tough enough to make those catches. Maybe some of them, but it's not that he's not tough. It's that Emmanuel is just freaky tough. Like he would just wear whatever it took to go make that catch. Again, with Waddle with the speed and the certainly better route running. Like the gap you can argue about. It's probably a pretty slim gap, I think, but it is better. But those tough catches, sometimes.
Emmanuel just was so clutch.
I know.
Jaylen Waddle just hasn't really had the opportunity to like play in games that big enough to show how clutch he is.
True.
Yeah.
All it takes is one or two of those, and yeah. Let's hit some super chats. We'll see if we get an update from Zach here, but we'll run through these now. Pure Lapine. Stowers in the second. Fisher at 108. Running back at 111. Man, Patty Fisher. Some people say 108. Some people say not draftable.
Patty Fisher.
The linebacker from Indiana. Patty?
Okay.
I think it's Patty. Oh, you say it out loud and think that can't be right. No, it's not Aiden Fisher. Who is Patty Fisher?
I have no idea.
Is he a basketball player? I think he was also a linebacker. I want to say he was the Notre Dame linebacker back in the day. Okay, just Google that. I really hope something shows up. I didn't make a name up. Mile High saying, hey, fellas, so Troy was the only receiver not to post anything on Instagram. Does that mean anything? If the Broncos are offered a third for Troy, would you do it? First of all, no. I don't care what anybody posts on Instagram. And eventually there's a point where it's like, if it's the Brandon Ayuk ice cream melting in the hand, I'll be like, okay, so this is a story. Like,
concerning.
That's insane. But like posting a graphic on Instagram versus not posting on Instagram, like I just don't care. I don't think it matters at all.
Okay. I'm going to just give you my honest stream of consciousness here, not like I'm protecting anything or anyone. Before the show yesterday, and maybe on the show, I can't remember, I said like, probably the biggest loser of this trade is Troy Franklin. Like if someone has to lose, it's probably Troy. And I don't think he is a loser in the trade at all, but he's not going to get the target share that he got this year. Like it's not really possible.
You wouldn't think so. Right, because who's the...
Didn't he have over 100 targets?
Yeah, he did. That's tough to do.
There's just no way.
Yeah.
So if there was someone who is going to not be as hyped about it as everyone else, it would probably be Troy. Back to your point, he doesn't have to post on Instagram to prove anything to anyone about how he feels about this trade. That is a MySpace top 8 way of thinking.
Yeah. Like some guys post a lot of, like we post a lot of graphics on Instagram. Other guys don't. Like it's just.
Were you around in the MySpace top 8 era?
Just barely.
Okay.
Just barely. Just barely. Yeah.
Patty Fisher, Northwestern linebacker from
2021
Damn,
Northwestern linebacker Patty Fisher.
That would be, yeah.
Is it spelled Paddy?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He probably had a great day yesterday.
Yeah. Probably. Probably. Oh, really? Good for him. Northwestern Chicago, too.
Yeah.
So, like, he's...
Oh, yeah.
No,
he's probably on the Green River
right,
yesterday.
I hope he's okay, is what I would say about Patty Fisher. Man, sometimes I love when we say a name, it's like, oh, it's the last time anybody's going to say his name on this podcast.
Or any podcast.
Right. I think Draft Pod 5 years ago probably talked Patty Fisher, but goodbye, Patty Fisher. Brandon, love the Waddle trade. Hypothetically, how far up in the first could we have moved with the picks we traded away? First and third, what would you take? 25th. People have done that math a lot. I'm like, what was the value? The answer is you essentially traded the 25th pick.
That is nothing. I mean, in terms
certainly,
of...
2026 is absolutely.
You're telling me that if the Broncos combined those picks to move up in the first round, they only could have gotten to 25.
Yep.
Wow, that makes me like this trade even more.
Oh, good. I was worried you.
You would probably do it for Casey Concepcion,
Yeah.
who's the most waddly player available in the draft.
Right. Yeah.
And yes, is the money have to be considered in that?
$68 million
Sure.
bucks
If you
for one less
got
year
a
of control.
perennial 1,000-yard receiver with the 25th pick that you traded up for, and you got Casey Concepcion, and he
Yep.
did all the things that Jaylen Waddle did, then you would have won.
Right. So essentially the difference would be, so you probably wind up giving that guy $8 million over the 4 years. So you're out the 25th pick, you're out $60 million, and you're out 1 year of team control because it's 3 years versus 4. So that's kind of your difference there. And so I think it's a good, and
there's no telling that you couldn't have gotten Casey at 30.
Also true. It might overpay is just a tough word because the receiver market's weird. And there hasn't been a first round pick traded for a receiver in 3 years. Mostly because everybody you figured it was this high and nobody's been willing to pay the price. I think it's a good move. I don't know that it's like a great value, but I think that might just be the nature of the NFL right now is nobody wants to trade good receivers because people like to say they're easy to find, but they're not. And they never hit free agency.
Yeah. Well, good receivers are easy to find.
Yeah.
Great receivers are not, which has been my point all offseason.
And it's just, is Waddle good or is he great?
He's great.
Okay. He's right on that borderline to me. I think we're going to find out a lot this year because if you can explain it all away by Tua and Skylar Thompson and whoever else just weren't able to feed him in the way that he needed, combined with the fact that the other weapons meant that defenses were able to skew other defenses were able to skew assets his way. Like, I think there's a world where he actually is just like consistent 1,300-yard receiver. But to me, that's that bar. It's like, are you getting that 1,250 every single year?
Yeah, I mean, and that's not easy to get. Where I just keep going back to is the thing that I've been complaining about for 2 years, which is who on the Broncos offense does the defensive coordinator, the opposing team, get on the plane after they played their previous game and just say, like, I don't have time to dwell on this. I got to start watching Jaylen Waddle tape. We didn't have anyone like that before. I really do think Jaylen Waddle will give defensive coordinators fits like that.
There's a real chance. Yeah, but it has to be a hot start. Like, I think you have to get out there in like first 4 weeks when you probably don't see a whole bunch of things skewed his way. They're probably playing pretty straight up. If he goes out there and tears them up, that's when they move over. Because like, I think when you look back, like he's been production wise like almost 1,000-yard receiver for the past few years, which isn't a guy that you're skewing coverages toward because he hasn't quite earned it. Or he earned it a few years ago, but just hasn't been able to re-earn it. And there's some of those guys, because like if it's A.J. Brown that they had gotten, week one, defensive coordinators are saying he's that guy. Like, we need to change our entire defense. I think Waddle might need to earn it.
Is more of that than A.J. Brown.
Waddle's just, the numbers are so big.
With A.J. Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. All right, let's keep moving on.
Yep, moving on. Rat Pack text. I believe if...
Pat Bryant.
Yeah, not Oat Bryant. What are the odds there was a receiver in like the 1940s? This is Oat Bryant. Develops like Benny thinks he's the wide receiver 3. I think Troy and Sutton are on trade block with Riley Moss. Jay Cohen will be cheaper as well. No way we are keeping 7 receivers. Yeah, I mean, so the way this all lines up is after this year, Marvin's a free agent. After next year, Troy's a free agent. After the year after that, Pat's a free agent and Jaylen's a free agent. And Court is a free agent. Now, Court you can get off of earlier. Waddle you could get off a year early. That's more likely to be a value deal at the time, but you never know. And so you do have to start making some of these decisions.
In a perfect world, Pat Bryant slots into the Courtland Sutton role, and everything else stays the same. And Court is no longer a Bronco. That's not.
Yeah.
I'm not wishing for Court to not be a Bronco, but in terms of like draft and develop and internally promote, that would be the best case scenario.
Right. And again, in Cap Cleveland, as I like to call it, you get like $4 million in effective cap space with Brandon Jones, Ben Powers, both those corners. Like, so many guys you're going to have to pay after this year or let walk. Like, saving $20 million by moving on from Court is going to be potentially tempting, but you only do that if the other receivers earn it. So we'll see. Eventually, tough decisions will have to be made, and that's going to happen next year for some positions at the very least. All things football. Did you all get to discuss and review expectations versus reality ahead of 26th season with Waddle and a Peyton Webb offense led by Bo? God bless Bo Nix.
Well, all we can discuss at this point is expectations.
Yeah.
Reality then will play itself out.
Unless you're not a time traveler.
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
That being said,
say.
I think we'll have a whole show at some point talking about expected stats for these guys.
Right. And I think if Bo's hitting the deep balls or he gets better in the middle of the field, Jaylen should get to 1,000. He should get back to 1,000 this year. And if he gets both of those, then that's where you start saying, okay, it can mean 11, it could be 12, it can be 13. Like, I doubt it's 14, but because eventually you get to the point where it's just like there's going to be 3 of those in the NFL, and there's no reason to think he's going to be a top 3, 4, 5 receiver in the NFL based on what we've seen. But you also don't want to put a ceiling on it.
We'll wrap up here. CD does ask, when does Benny get to weigh in? Benny is playing Pebble Beach today.
Right.
Which my jealousy doesn't go much higher than that.
Right.
There's a couple levels, but then I think he's playing Spyglass Hill tomorrow. So sometime after that.
After that, yeah. Yeah. Monday at the very latest. No Zac, unfortunately. It's a real shame. This is something to talk about tomorrow.
This is just a complete side note. At some point, I assume Jaylen Waddle would talk to the Denver media.
At some point, you would think.
I would just think that would be a thing that might happen at some point. And if that were to happen, I'm sure we would have content up.
Yeah. And I'm sure that it would give us something to talk about tomorrow.
It would give us something to talk about in the event that it happened today.
If it happens. I think that does it for today. Be on the lookout. Video breakdown. The film room on the website going to be up tonight or tomorrow morning. Jaylen Waddle's a Bronco.
God bless Bo Nix.
We all silly like the mayor.